It's National Signing Day, and this morning things started off all right, kind of as expected with the University of Michigan football. I mean, we picked up Brian Cole, wide receiver, Alex Malzone, Grant Perry, Nolan Lizio, I can't even say his name, a kicker, Andrew David, Tyree Kinnell, Grant Newsome, Zach Gentry, who was a huge pickup, John Runyon Jr., and Keith Washington. Now, I've seen a tweet saying that Keith Washington volunteered to run in a parking lot for Jim Harbaugh just to show him how fast he was. So that's kind of funny. And now we're at about 2:30 in the afternoon. I'm listening to Valenti and Foster and hearing them talk about how it doesn't matter and how, one, they're saying it doesn't matter, how good your recruiting class is, but then they're dogging all over Michigan and Michigan fans and the writers saying, oh, you guys got a crappy draft or signing day class. And, really it doesn't matter. I mean, look at the Super Bowl. I don't think any of the starters were 5-star recruits, maybe one. I think Russell Wilson, for example, was a 2-star recruit. Aaron Rodgers, if you're looking at the elite players out there, Aaron Rodgers, I think, had to go to community college for a couple years before he got his chance at a Division I school. Tom Brady was not highly touted coming out of high school, and look what happened with him. He wasn't even our number one choice at quarterback. Drew Henson was, so I know Tom Brady had thought about, transferring at one point. But yeah, it's Jim Harbaugh is going to be judged not on his recruiting classes. I mean, if that was the number one thing, Brady Hoke would still be here because he had highly touted recruiting classes. It's going to come down to if Jim Harbaugh can coach these kids up to be great players. If you look at it right now, we have Ty Isaac, the USC transfer at running back, who's supposed to be really good. Derek Green's going to be back healthy this year. Those two at running back are going to be awesome. Do we need Mike Weber? No. In my opinion, no. We got two good running backs right there. We'll see what we get next year. Quarterback. We still have Shane Morris, who was a good quarterback coming out of high school. Now we're going to have Alex Malzone and Zach Gentry. Now, Alex Malzone is already in school this semester and could end up being the starter next year. It's going to come down to him and Shane Morris, I think. Zach Gentry is going to be here, I think, probably late summer, fall. And so I don't think he'll start right away. It's possible. Don't get me wrong. And I've heard he has amazing talent. I just don't think he will be our starter next year. I think it's going to come down to Shane Morris and Alex Malzone. So if Jim Harbaugh has a good running game, he can get this offensive line to be better than what they've been, because the last 2 years, I think that's been our weakest point. And I think we have talent on the outside at wide receiver. And the biggest issue is that we haven't had time to get those guys open for our quarterbacks. So I think if the offensive line improves as I expect them to, and I think with the running backs being what they're supposed to be, I think we're going to be all right next year. We're not going to be great. I mean, unless Shane Morris comes and steps up and learns a lot under Harbaugh and plays his best football, I don't expect us to be great. Our defense was, I think, top 20 last year, maybe top 15. And so if that continues, we're going to have Peppers back. I don't know if what's happening with Eamon Marshall right now. I think he's supposed to announce at 4:00. If somehow we get him, even as a freshman, I think he could be great for a freshman. I think he could be really good for a freshman. So I think there's still a lot of potential for a good year next year. I still think Ohio State and Michigan State are at the top. I still think we can make those games competitive. But really it's going to come down to next year's recruiting class, what he does with the players he has, and can he develop it? I still think 2-3 years, we'll be all right. The biggest thing this year to me is getting a quarterback for the future. And I think we got that with Zach Gentry or Alex Malzone. I think both could be good. So obviously Gentry right now out of high school, I favor him, but Malzone being enrolled early has a leg up too. So it's close, in my opinion, right now for that. So as long as we get a good quarterback for the future of Michigan football, I think we'll be okay. You know, Derek Green's going to be okay. Isaac, I think he'll be our starter, Ty Isaac. So we'll see what happens, you know. And do stars matter? Not really. Look at Michigan State. They were whooping our butt with lesser recruiting classes for a few years there. You know, Notre Dame was the same way for a long time before they got Brian Kelly. They were awful teams, yet they recruited great. So we'll see what happens. It's all about if a coach can make somebody reach their full potential. And I feel like Jim Harbaugh can. I think he is very good for a competitive environment. He wants kids that are going to come in and work hard. You know, that's what he did at Stanford, and I think he's going to do that at Michigan. So we'll see what happens. He made a lot out of Richard Sherman, Andrew Luck, who was not considered to be a great quarterback out of high school. He was good, was not going to be considered a great. So again, let's see what Harbaugh can do with this group of kids. Maybe he sees something in them. He's got a couple fast kids in there. I think he got a pretty good running back today, which Mike Weber had I heard Mike Weber stated that's why he went to Ohio State. So we'll see what happens there. So we might have a running back of the future. So yeah, I mean, that's really all I have to say on it. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on the recruiting. You know, does it matter to you? Do you think it's really that important? Personally, I think it's a little overrated. I still enjoy it. I still try to follow it, but that's just because I want to know who's coming into my team, more than anything, and I'm not one to jump on kids when they change their mind. Like Mike Weber, I hope you have a great career at Ohio State. I just hope Michigan is better. That's all I care about. I could care less about what yardage you get, touchdowns. If you end up going to the NFL, I hope you have a great one, but hopefully Michigan's better than Ohio State. Same thing for Michigan State. Any of these kids, the kids that went to UCLA, Clark, that tight end who I really am surprised didn't come to Michigan. Again, best of luck. Hope you enjoy your career. Hopefully Michigan does better than your team does. That's it. So thanks again. Hope you enjoyed this. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Google+, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.